Good morning. This is going to be another early morning inspiration video, and I have, I think, hopefully, developed through meditation and prayer a posting schedule that's going to work, for me, for the channel, and I will start uploading daily for a moment of reflection, and that's going to be between 6 and 6:30 every day. And then the other style of video that I'm going to make is like a coffee time video, and that's not going to be that will be surface issues or surface questions, things like that. And I have just been trying to work out the details of what I want the channel to, the flow to be, and how I'm going to upload, how I'm going to do things, because I have projects outside of the channel that I'm working on that I am super excited about, and once those are completely done and established, then I'm going to create a video on here to kind of explain the projects I've been working on behind the scenes, to tie everything together. And so this morning, waking up right before I woke up, and I was still asleep in a dream state. I kept having this looped dream of being in front of some kind of church or faith-based organization, and as I was waiting for who had come with me to meet me on the sidewalk in front of the building, I dropped something on the ground, and so I bent down to pick it up, and out of nowhere, this little tiny girl walked up to me, and I could see that she was distressed, and so I was gently asking her if she knew where she was, and where mom or dad or the family was that she had come with. And she just kept holding her arms out to me as if to say, "Pick me up, please, please." And she had, big tears in her eyes. And so I had, bent down a little bit further, and I grabbed her hand, and I just started letting her know that it was okay. And then I actually told her that I was going to start singing to her to maybe that would make her feel better. And so she, stopped, and she just sat down on the sidewalk, and I started to sing her a song, and the song was, very simple: "Jesus loves you." And as I was singing that to her, crouched down on the sidewalk at her level to make her feel comfortable, other children from the crowd and other families came walking up and started, just sitting down in a semicircle around me. And at that point, before I realized it, when I had finished and I looked up, there was a whole crowd of people that were just standing there, listening to me, and had started clapping when it ended. And so I had an idea, and I tell this group of kids that are now assembled around me, I said, "Why don't we figure out and see if I can guess who your mom and dad are?" And so all the parents that were standing and watching And the dream obviously were the children's parents. And so I had these adults stand, male, female, and I tried to guess whose kids were whose. And of course, it ended up very hysterically, not even close in some cases, and right on some other ones. And then I woke up, and so I thought, that's, okay, that's kind of a quirky, funny dream to have, but, not a bad dream. And when I was thinking about that, making my morning drink of lemon water, I thought, I wonder what that means. Maybe it doesn't mean anything, it's just a dream, right? But sometimes I do believe that our dreams have significance because it's our mind's way of kind of going over the landscape of our dreams and goals and showing us where our heart is really at, as opposed to where maybe we want it to be. And, thinking about it in those terms, I just realized that my heart is really focused on being the joy of life that I want to see in my community, and being willing to recognize the flow of where I'm at, and in subtle, small ways invite other people into that same mind frame to work with what's present in their life, and instead of addressing their life through a palette of frustration, being willing to simply observe what is going on, and not just their life, but in the lives around them that impact their own experience, and being willing to allow their rough edges, if you will, to be softened by being in flow, in unison with others around them, so that the atmosphere is not so heavy and dark and dank, and it feels a little bit lighter, a little bit happier, more infused with possibility, and less constrained by lack of belief, if you will, that you can overcome the obstacles in front of you. That in the past, maybe you've always, just kind of given into the limiting belief that I've never accomplished this, so I'm not going to be able to accomplish it now, right? And when I really thought about that, I thought that is really interesting, that something like that dream that I had could even signify something like that to me. But I think oftentimes in life, when you are in the midst of building a new path forward for yourself, while having people throw rocks at you and say, just horrible things to you and horrible things about you that aren't true, they know aren't true, but they have to do that because they're operating from the palette of their own inability to control you, or to control the narrative about how things ended with you, that, that's old hat, that they're going to do that. So don't be surprised about it. Find a path forward in the midst of that, despite that, so that the truth is really reflected without you having to say what the truth is. Because when you're busy working to build a new venture for yourself, and establish a new path forward for yourself, away from chaotic drama and undercurrents and people that cannot and will not own up to their true feelings and intentions and motives, but you do that consistently. The only way to completely separate and break away from that is to simply focus on what is before you, and how you have limited yourself in the past, and move differently when you see that continuing to be who you've been is not working, right? And what I mean by that is, if you are a loving person and you're consistently around people that just take and take and take, and there's not an equal give and take there, when you choose to walk away, that is your power being called back to you from that situation, that person, that relationship, that dynamic. And understand that when you do that, you already know what the other side is going to do. You cheated, you were a liar, you stole things, it was their idea that you took, and now you're profiting and you owe them. Expect that, because that's how they have to operate. They're not operating from any sense of truth, because you oftentimes have been the source of the truth in that situation. And when you remove your energy from it, now they have to scramble for the identity of who they are. They have to discover what the truth is, and they will oftentimes do that through maligning you, defaming you, slandering you, creating false narratives about you. And that being what it is, if you want to completely break away from that and separate yourself, you don't have to keep validating what your experience was. Just let them say what they're going to say. Move forward, but move forward in such a way that there's a definite line of distance between you and them. And in that way, you preserve yourself from being truthfully dragged into the drama and conflict and the chaos. Because eventually, what people will see is that, oh, this person is very angry and hot-headed and not even tempered, but they're fighting with themselves, because you're not even engaging anything with them or towards them. You are simply moving forward, venturing forward in a different direction, building your own self up, supporting yourself without the interference of this said previous dynamic or energy. And they're wanting to get control of that, but they can't. And that will always come out. That will always be exposed. It's not to say that people will always agree with the choice you made to leave, but it's not for them to agree with it. It's for you to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, separate from those people and those situations and those dynamics, so that you go after what it is that you are desiring to experience. Because your life is your experience. It is not anybody else's to dictate to you what you should be experiencing or how you should operate in it. And even from my own experience, I have always been a stable and loving person in my relationships, but I have allowed people, through the benefit of the doubt, to create narratives about me by not having healthy boundary lines. And when I recently decided that that is not going to be what I'm going to allow in my life, because it's not what I deserve or want, I became the major problem And I had to release the desire to validate my experience and let their lies be what they are, their own perspective, and the lesson that they're going to relearn, because I'm not. I'm done. And unfortunately, for some involved in that, that means that a child will be hurt, but not hurt by what I've done, but hurt by the fact that someone is incapable of allowing this child to be made whole in their love for me. And, so as much as people involved want to blame me, what's unfolded and happened and taken place has nothing to do with me. It has to do with other people's inability to appreciate and respect the advice that was given to move in a certain way and direction, and everyone butting in and saying, oh, that's wrong, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I can only do what I can do, but I am not going to share or take the brunt of everything is falling down around me because you left me upon my shoulders. I'm only responsible for how I showed up. Everything else, everyone else is going to have to take their share of responsibility for their own actions and hold themselves accountable. And as I move forward, I've noticed that my clarity of mind is crystal clear. My peace and my joy is always present. I'm always laughing, finding, ways to help others kind of relieve the heaviness in their own circumstance as well through laughter. Because laughter is quite a good medicine for a lot of things in life. And so I just want to, in saying all this, I want to encourage you to allow yourself the space and the opportunity to simply be okay with the decisions that you made. If it was to leave, if it was to if it was to recognize that you were not being respected, and that, and because respect in a romantic sense does equal stable love, when you're not being respected, love is not there. Because love is respectful. It doesn't destroy your confidence. It doesn't destroy your right to have boundary lines, to have them acknowledged and accepted. And if that's not happening, then it's codependency or obsession or something other than love. And when you recognize that, I don't think you can stay in the midst of that if your mind is clear on how you want your life to be. And so my encouragement to you is, if you have made that choice to recognize the cyclical nature of that dynamic and remove yourself from that cycle and build elsewhere, congratulations. Enjoy your rest. Enjoy your rebuilding season. Enjoy giving yourself the restitution that situation, that relationship, that dynamic never could. enjoy delving into your own inner working so that you can understand how you show up in conflict and conflict resolution and your own inner workings in relationships, because ultimately when you know yourself, you know, and you're better able to recognize when someone truly respects and loves you. If you don't, you will think that someone telling you that they love you is amazing, but you won't wait for the necessary credentials to be reflected to you consistently and continually. And and if that's how you've always been, it is possible to change that. It is possible, but you have to face the underlying foundation to why you show up in that particular way, right? And so when you're in that season of regeneration and rebirth and rebuilding, it's okay to stay at home and stay to yourself and not necessarily need to have all this interaction with other people. It's okay to do that, because truly, some of the work that you're going to be doing, you don't need to have people around you. You need to be able to get quiet and meditate and really truly go inward and ask yourself, why do I fall into this certain pattern or pattern behavior in my life when XYZ happens or doesn't happen? And it becomes easier to really delve into that when you're not surrounded by the opinions and the thoughts and the meditations of others, and you're simply going within yourself to focus on what you need to focus on to be able to see the reason to your why. So if this has helped you, I sincerely hope that it has. I just want to send you healing internally. I'm sending you the energy of just trusting your own voice, trusting your own moderation. Whatever it is that you're seeking to uncover within the framework of your own psyche, to understand yourself, to know yourself, I am sending you the energy of accepting that and being willing to work inwardly on those aspects of yourself that have been fragmented through your experiences in life, to heal and just enjoy all of the possibilities that are out there for you, to enjoy getting to know, what makes you happy, what you enjoy, what makes you laugh, what makes you feel light, what truth mobilizes you to keep going. Whatever it is, the consistent discipline to honor what you say you want, that is the energy I send you to be rebuilding yourself and going down a different path and achieving what it is that you want to experience in your experience.